So last March, I committed to reading one book every week, and now it is July 2025. I've done a lot of reading in the past year, and I've read over 70 books now, and I have a few favorites, I'll just say that. So in this video, I'm going to give you my number one book that I think can pretty much help anyone, but especially if you want to learn the basics of making money, the basics of being happy, and some basic philosophy stuff. I think this book is one of the easiest books to read. It's a book that I go back to all the time. It's that book that I bring with me everywhere. And sometimes you need a book that you can go to when maybe you don't want to sit down and grind gears to understand the book, and you just want to sit down and refresh those basic lessons that are timeless, and they're timeless for a reason. So, here we go. We've got The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. So, I talk about this book a lot on my channel, but when I first got it and I was reading it, it actually kind of broke a lot of my beliefs. So, for a long time, I thought, okay, I want to get rich, and I know getting rich is really hard. So I'm just going to be miserable until I'm wealthy. And that's how I went about life. I neglected a lot of my relationships. I was very egocentric, and I was more or less okay with being unhappy. I just wanted to be obsessive and unhappy and then get it. And then I found some success. I sold about $70,000 worth of kitchen products in direct sales. And that only fed my addiction to reading, just as an aside. But I was so obsessed with it all that I wondered, is this really what it's like? Is this really how life is? And the funniest, I got recommended this book in the funniest way. There's this guy, Carrington, and he's just a jokester. All he does is just make jokes on TikTok and sometimes YouTube. But he's actually a model. And he made a book that got no views in comparison to all his other content. And it was his book recommendations. And he was talking about this book very highly. He was saying it was the best book. So I was like, screw it. I like Carrington. He gives value. And I think this book could be valuable too. So I picked it up. I was one of those books where you pick it up and you can't put it down for an entire session. It's one of those books that every dot connects so well that you can flow through the book in one sitting. And it's also written so well, it's so simply that you can easily flow through it and understand everything. So smart people don't explain things in complicated ways. Smart people are able to break down really complex concepts in the simplest way possible so that a third grader can understand it. So I think a very low-level reader can understand these concepts, even though there's complex business concepts like leverage. I never even really thought about leverage before reading this book. But let me get into what really struck me when I read this book. So it talks about it's a guide to wealth and happiness. That second part, happiness, I was like, that's stupid. But this guy, Naval, he is a multimillionaire. I think he's on Google. It says he's worth $65 million. And I was like, okay, maybe can trust some of these things. He has the money, so as long as he has money, I can trust him. It was stupid. But the line that just hit me, he said, desire is a contract that you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. A lot of these quotes from this book are just threaded into my psyche. But when he said that, I thought, wait a second. What I've been doing all this time, being angry towards everyone trying to get money, is not the way to get rich, and I can be happy too? Are you serious? I've been doing this all wrong. And it was a little repulsive to read because I thought, wow, shame on me for thinking I need to be unhappy the whole time. How stupid is that? And it was basically that you need to find peace. Peace is being away from your mind for a while. And this massive pursuit of making lots of money, having a successful business, there's a lot of misery that comes with that. And since he has money, yes, money makes things way easier. It takes away your money problems. But money does not make you happy. And the reframe was that, okay, happy itself is a skill. Yes, I get money, but happiness, that's a freaking skill. I thought, wow, would have thought, why would I want to be happy? What a pointless skill. But then I'm like, okay, I can be happy now. Let's work on that skill. And I like skills. So when he framed it that way, I was like, okay, I'll learn how to be happy. And now I'd say I'm one of the more happy, peaceful that you'd come across. And that's kind of my main pursuits. He also says that wealth, health, and happiness, we pursue them in that order, but their importance is in reverse. So we pursue them wealth, we try to get our money, then let's get healthy, then we can get happy. And by the time most people ever figure out that they're happy, they're 80 years old, but their importance is in reverse. You need to find happiness. I think happiness and health are tied. Maybe happiness is first for me, but then wealth in importance. And that's the thing, like after my life now, after reading this book, and it's like, at the end of the day, I know that none of this stuff really matters. It really doesn't. I'm out. Getting money is just a game, and you play the game to beat it, and then you're free from it. But along the way, it's like a lake where the surface has these ripples. There's bad weather, ships come through, whatever it is. There's ripples on the surface, but below the surface, the water's always calm. And that's what is available to you at all times. You have a peace available. It also opened my mind to meditation. Just so many concepts. If you read this book, your brain's just going to expand, and you're going to get into a bunch of new stuff that you would have never gotten into, ever. Genuinely think if you read this book a few times, or even once, it's going to change your life. I don't want to make this video longer than it has to be, but this book genuinely changed my life. And I would not be the same person without it. Now I've, my first 3K month with my own business. I've become way happier. Like, when I'm thinking about it, I have a lot to thank for this book. So thank you, Naval. Thank you, Eric Jorgensen, for writing the book. But please get this book if you really want to have a transformational section of your life. Thumbnail, maybe. We'll see. Cheers.